Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're going to be talking about Rakdos, the Lord of Riots. Not the other one. This guy's a 4-mana 6/6 with a drawback that's pretty easy to get around. I mean, his flying trample. This is totally not bad. Now, you can't cast him unless somebody's lost life. That's fine. Uh, Preface: there are a bunch of cards that should go in here if I had them. They would be all of the Eldrazi gods. Velvalken Ore is amazing. And oh my gosh, if you the endless one is redonkulous. I can't believe I don't have one. I bought a whole bunch of them. I don't know where they are now. Stay organized, people. It's hard when you're not. I'm going to take about a week to put everything back up. Anyway, here's what I've got for Rakdos. There's a lot of things that you just want to do, but you want to deal damage onto them. So let's see what we got here. Slag Squirm is going to deal 3 to each player. So in a pinch, late game, 3 to each player. And now you got the ability to play Mr. Rakdos. Now, the very first thing I thought of when I saw him was the Pestilence Effects. Now, Pestilence, this is an unlimited printing here, essentially is now Pyrohemia. We have 2 copies of it, so that's awesome. Essentially, mana : 1 damage to each creature and player. I run the Urza's Armor. Yay, it's Urza's Armor with a purpose. I run Urza's Armor in it to prevent that damage to me, so that's fine. Also, Lifeline. Now, Lifeline has some errata here. Your graveyard has been taken out. This does work for everybody. It does not work against wrath effects, by the way, unless there is an indestructible creature on the board. Then it just says creatures can't die. But they all come back into play. So, anyway. Now, Mana Barbs also works well with Urza's Armor. Because, if you get them both out, it just does not affect you. You can tap all you want to, but everybody else is hurting every time they're tapping mana, which is a kind of a very, very Rakdos thing to do, as well as the Killing Wave. How bad do you want that creature? I mean, you can make X 2, and in this deck, Killing Wave, you can almost make it to where, well, yeah, I'll pay the 2 per each creature, or the 1 for each creature if they got a bunch. You want to do it low as opposed to high, because the object is not to kill all the dudes. The object is to get them to lose a bunch of life collectively. And as far as collectively losing a bunch of life, Flame Rift is about as easy as it gets. Now, there's a lot of crazy everybody loses some life stuff here. But we do have, just going to roll through the stuff that damages a player first. Colligan's Command, you've got an option there. Unlicensed Disintegration is, a murder with damage. Guess Verdict is a edict with damage. We have Sudden Impact to keep that blue player honest, because, if you're going to play into the infinite, I got something for you, buddy. Comet Storm can just get ridiculous since we are in a multiplayer format. You only target players, only kick it, about 6 or 7 mana here, and you're going to be dropping stuff for the cheap. Rakdos Charm. Here again, this is a card that severely punishes decks like Storm Herd and things of that nature. Rakdos Charm is just, it ends a game. I mean, a lot of times it really does. Thought about playing Shatter, but then I'm like, no, I want damage attached to it. So I used Detonate. And then, I mean, Pyroclasm's cool, but it doesn't hit players, but Volcanic Fallout does. Now, Earthquake, my Gersh, this is just, Earthquake is, I mean, yeah, you're going to kill some creatures, that's fine. You're going to hit players, you're going to hit every single player. So that's beautiful. Y'all know I'm always looking to play with Ice Age cards. It's 2 mana, it's going to come out, and it triggers during your upkeep, so it is your turn. So on your turn, you have done damage to everybody, and you can play your Rakdos, or just get a discount. If you happen to be playing one of those really ridiculously large games, hey. Now, I don't know what they were thinking when they printed this. I realized this was dramatically overshadowed by the blue-white expel then, but I can see them all sitting around and going, hey, I like Fireball, and I like Mind Twist. Hey, let's put them both together and not have to pay any extra for it. My gosh, this is ridiculous. If you Rakdos return somebody's hand, it kills them. It may not kill them instantly, and it may take 5 or 6 turns, but we all know that's what killed them. Now, with all this, all players losing some life and junk, I do run a Loxodon Warhammer. I mean, it's pretty good. It'll net you a little bit of life, to maybe keep you up and whatever. But if there was only somebody good to hold the hammer, like Heartless here, giving this guy lifelink is not fair. And that's why I love it. He's, you half everybody's life total, and that gets Rakdos out of hand. Well, all right, here, before we go any further, this is what I've got for what I call the free drops. Now, Walking Ballista, I'm using all my Walking Ballistas in other decks. Walking Ballista is nuts, especially with Heartless here. You can just end a game. If you half everybody at the table's life total, Magical Christmas Land here, everybody's at 40. And you're playing 4 players. It doesn't count you, the Rakdos doesn't. But that's 20, 40, 60, and you drop your Ballista with 30 counters on it. Oh my gosh, somebody's dead. But I don't have those. These are my free drops. As I said, they're not amazing, but hey, it's what I've got until I can get some more Ballistas. But he's got to get cheaper, man. I don't know that he will, because he's played in every dang format there is. Annihilator, not busted at all. I like that Breaker of Armies for when you absolutely got to get everybody else through. Although it's an expensive Taunting Elf, but, if you can drop it for free, it ain't that bad, I guess. Deso Twin kind of makes me wish we were in bounce colors. I don't know. The Bane is ridiculous. Now, I've got the Manor Gargoyle in there, and you're like, what? Well, I specifically chose the creatures in the deck to live through Ether Flash, because I don't want to be overrun by tokens, because they just, not with this deck. Now, and the Gargoyle is indestructible, all that jazz. Early game, we got our Alchemist, which, 1 damage to each opponent, and it also lives through the Flash. The Lobber Crew lives through the Flash. Here, let's go through some just good old-fashioned, I don't know, I hate to call them staples, but let's face it, they are. Most of my creatures are expensive. Consume the Meek seems a natural fit. I've got Removal and Terminate, Doomblade, Murder, and Tragic Slip to get rid of those nasty indestructible dudes. Dreadbore, because we're in the colors. A Tutor. Plaguewind, because, you know, I like my guys. And Spoils of Evil, here again. For each artifact or creature in their yard, man, you gain a life and get some colorless. So that's good. Now, here's where I hate myself a little bit. I put Exquisite Blood in there because I do have a lot of cards where opponents are losing life. And since this is the hard part of the two to get, I was like, well, I'm already running Exquisite Blood, so I might as well throw in the Bond and be that guy. But you know what? It kind of feels okay to be that guy in a Rakdos deck because he's totally that guy. Speaking of which, I don't really have so much ramp as I have fixing because our general is very specific. I mean, he's 4 specific mana. So, hey, the Talisman also works well with the Urza's Armor because we don't care about the 1 damage. But these are mostly just cards that solve the mana issues. I mean, it's not so much. Yeah, they're probably going to work as ramp. Like Everflowing Chalice is the only one that's actually hardcore ramp. But now, Harvester of Souls, they're going to lose some dudes, so we might as well be drawing some cards out of it. I promise you they're going to be losing some dudes if you have an Avatar of Woe out there. FY, if y'all don't know, she taps to kill a dude. She gets cheaper if there's a bunch of dead dudes, so... Now, there again, a lot of things are going to die, and the Deathbringer Thopter is pretty good. Anethemancer, yeah. It's a great card in EDH, man, I swear it. The Primordial here, I mean, I'm good zombifying something from everybody's yard. You good? And the reason why I chose him is because most of the time you're not going to play the 7 mana guy, but, you know, odds are we're paying 2 for this guy. Just like we're probably playing 2 for the archetype here. Which, I mean, I love this card, don't get me wrong. Artwork is amazing. I think I got a couple Chris Ron autographs years ago, long before this one was ever printed. But anyway, it's great art. Love it. I have yet to see a full of this card. It's got to be amazing. Those eyes, man. Anyway, this is a great card. It's outstanding when you can only pay 2 black for it. Tofishino Heretic. Here's the thing that... I mean, it's a 1/3, so it lives through our flash, and it 2 mana detonates. But you only got to pay 2 mana to detonate instead of X. That's pretty good. I like this guy. Our last card is, of course, the Cryptborn Horror. It's kind of sick. You know, it's like the #1 thing you want to be following up a Hidetsugu activation with. Man. Anyway, that's what I've got. Thought hard about Fervor and Emblem of the Warmind, the Haste Enablers. Probably will at some point in time. Rakdos here's a work in progress because I do want an Endless one. By the way the Endless one works, because it's an X, or at least this is the way I've been playing it forever. When a cost is reduced, you just make X whatever that deduction is, and you have just a fat Eldrazi out there. Anyway, I do appreciate you watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.